In the blistering heat of summer, among the rolling hills of Boeotia in 338 BC, history witnessed a confrontation that would echo through the ages, the Battle of Chaeronea. This decisive clash determined the fate of Greece as two formidable forces, the Macedonian Empire, led by King Philip II and his son Alexander, and a coalition of Greek city-states spearheaded by Athens and Thebes, faced off in a struggle for supremacy. At the head of the Macedonian forces stood King Philip II, a brilliant tactician and visionary ruler whose ambitions knew no limits. Commanding a well-drilled army of 30,000 infantry and 2,000 cavalry, Philip positioned himself on the right flank. His strategy for dominance over Greece combined shrewd diplomacy with relentless military campaigns, ensuring Macedon's rise to power. The core of Philip's army was the Macedonian phalanx, a disciplined infantry unit armed with the deadly long spears known as sarissas. These soldiers, known as phalangites, were the backbone of Macedon's military might, securing numerous victories under Philip's leadership. On the Macedonian left, Philip's 18-year-old son, Alexander, took command of the cavalry. Even at this young age, Alexander was already an adept tactician, with experience gained from battles against the Illyrians and Thracians. His position in this critical battle was a testament to his growing role as a military leader. Facing the Macedonians were the proud hoplites of Athens and the fierce warriors of Thebes, supported by their Greek allies. The Athenians, masters of naval warfare and defenders of democracy, fought alongside the Thebans, famed for their elite infantry. At the head of their coalition were the Athenian orator Demosthenes and the Theban general Pelopidas. Together, they formed a shield against Macedonian dominance, fielding an army of roughly 35,000 infantry. However, the coalition notably lacked cavalry, a disadvantage that would prove costly. Theban right flank included the renowned Sacred Band, a unit of 300 elite warriors chosen for their loyalty and bravery. They stood ready to defend their city to the last, embodying the pride and resolve of Thebes. As dawn broke over Chaeronea, the battlefield glimmered under the rising sun. Philip initiated the engagement by advancing his right flank toward the Athenians. Before the charge, he instructed Alexander to hold the center and left flanks in place, waiting for an opportune moment to strike. The Athenians, braced for the assault, locked their shields and lowered their spears. Philip unleashed volleys of arrows and projectiles to weaken their lines before sending in his heavy infantry. The Macedonian phalanx clashed with the Athenian hoplites in a thunderous collision of bronze and iron. On the Macedonian left, Alexander advanced cautiously, ensuring his forces remained coordinated with Philip's right flank. His measured approach kept pressure on the Greek center, preventing them from reinforcing the Athenian left. Philip then unveiled his masterstroke. He ordered his right flank to retreat in a controlled manner, feigning a withdrawal. The Athenians, believing they had gained the upper hand, pressed forward, pursuing the retreating Macedonians. Meanwhile, Alexander mirrored this tactic, pulling back the Macedonian left and center, further luring the Greek coalition out of formation. With the Greek lines stretched and disorganized, Philip and Alexander sprang into action. Philip ordered his forces to halt their retreat and counterattack. Simultaneously, Alexander led the Macedonian cavalry in a devastating charge. The young prince struck at the exposed flanks and rear of the Greek coalition, cutting deep into their ranks and sowing chaos. The Macedonian phalanx surged forward, pinning the Greeks in place, while Alexander's cavalry hammered them from the sides. Encircled and overwhelmed, the Greek center collapsed. Thousands of soldiers fell as the battlefield became a blood-soaked arena of shattered dreams. The Athenian forces on Philip's right flank realized they had been outmaneuvered and fled in disarray. The Theban contingent on the right, including the sacred band, continued to resist. However, Alexander's cavalry eventually broke through their ranks. Surrounded and outnumbered, the sacred band fought valiantly to the last man, but they were ultimately annihilated. In the aftermath of the Battle of Chaeronea, King Philip II emerged as the undisputed ruler of Greece. The defeated city-states were compelled to acknowledge Macedonian supremacy, marking the end of their independence and the beginning of a new era. This battle not only solidified Philip's dominance, but also set the stage for Alexander's future conquests, as the young prince's brilliance on the battlefield became evident to all. Chaeronea was more than a battle. It was a turning point in Greek history, a moment when the old order fell, paving the way for the rise of a new empire that would soon stretch across the known world.